I just want to point out that I have the greatest taste in TV shows known to man. Everything I like is awesome.
Hi, I'm Russell, and welcome to Popculture Pontification, the show where we talk about games and movies and things like that. Allan's away this week, so we have a special guest joining us. Say hello to the kind people, Gav.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
This is my friend Gav. We go back a ways. Where did we meet? YCon?
Yeah, I believe. The anime convention that we mutually held.
Yeah, we're just still struggling along on its last legs.
Yeah, I always hear stories from my housemate. Obviously won't go into details, but it doesn't... it's definitely like a blood from a stone situation. I'm not sure.
Beating a dead horse.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing there, but I haven't paid attention to it for years. Yeah. The only anime I've seen recently in the last 5 years was One Punch Man.
Oh, One Punch Man's great.
Yeah. It's like the only thing that I've managed to watch. Everything else is like... I think the last one I watched was Death Note.
I only watch like the most popular anime.
I always have
it's only like one every 2 years.
I always have people trying to convince me to watch Naruto and Bleach. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and people are like, watch One Piece. I'm like,
it's like
600 episodes in or something.
Yeah. I don't want to dedicate like 6 months to watching something on a daily basis. That's fine.
Yeah, especially something that I know is not going to go anywhere for the next 600 episodes.
I remember watching like 30 episodes of Naruto, and what put me off it was how they would recap stuff that happens at the beginning of that particular episode. So it was weird.
And then the next episode will start, and the first like 6 minutes of it is previously on Naruto.
Like the plot's not massively engaging. Like I feel like even like Game of Thrones has less recaps at the end of its episodes.
Yeah.
Its episodes rather. So I feel like I don't know, anime.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing anymore.
Well, that's enough anime chat.
Yes.
It's not really our specialty topic.
No, but the main reason why I talked about anime is so you can like link it in your descriptions. You might get some anime fans over thinking
Lure
the number one anime podcast.
Yeah, in Perth.
Yeah.
That's probably true. I don't know of any other.
I'm sure that they exist.
You and I both went separately to the movies this weekend.
Yeah.
To see the newest film from Quentin Tarantino, The Hateful Eight.
Yes. I actually went specifically so I could talk about it in this podcast.
Oh,
I always was going to go see it because I'm a massive Tarantino fan, but
yeah.
My housemate and I were discussing about when to go see it, and I suggested Saturday night, so we saw it like 8:40.
Jesus, and, what time did that finish?
11:45, I think.
Yeah.
Saw it in Go Class, which is pretty cool. Been seeing a lot of movies in Go Class lately. I'm not sure why.
Just
flashing
that cash.
Yeah, maybe. I think I'm not actually a big fan of Go Class because I don't like how they bring food out. And I remember there was one period during Hateful Eight. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there was one particular tense moment where it was like a massive monologue, and they brought my food out.
Yeah.
And they took their time putting the plate down and everything.
And they're standing in front of you.
Yeah, and the entire time, and they're like asking me, who's got this? And I was like, no. And the entire time I was just like, just throw it down and walk out before something big happens.
Yeah.
And thankfully they did, but I was like, that's the worst moment to come in at this tense sort of scene. And so I was like, that's the main reason why I don't like Go Class.
Was it the same way Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah, does his massive talk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And like, that was like the turning point of the movie, really.
Yeah.
And if they come out like 2 minutes later, during the big end moment, it would have ruined the entire thing. So I like to sit in total silence in a movie and just say nothing, don't eat nothing, just because like when I'm at home, I'm watching a movie. I don't do anything. If it's a good movie, I just sit there. But,
it's a weird thing about the movies. Like you have to go out to the cinema to watch the new movies because they don't come out on home media for like 6 months. But it's the worst way to watch a movie.
Yeah, it's like a semi-social experience, but not.
Yeah. Even if you go with your friends, like you don't talk to each other.
No.
Just before and after.
Unless it's Dunstan checks in.
Dunstan checks in.
I went and saw that at the cinema a long time ago. I can't remember why, and I remember just the person I was with. The cinema was empty.
I don't know this movie. What's Dunstan?
It's Jason Alexander. There's like a monkey in a hotel. I can't remember the plotline. I saw it when I was really young. Like, not really young, like 15 or so, I guess. And I just remember we just chatted the entire movie and just bagged it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very good movie. It's not memorable whatsoever. It's just like I think Jason Alexander's like a hotel manager. Is a very prissy, very uptight.
Is he like Tim Curry in the second Home Alone movie?
I don't remember enough about the second Home Alone movie to make that call.
Okay.
But a monkey makes its way into the hotel called Dunstan and causes havoc.
As monkeys are
and it annoys Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
And I mean, as it would. Like, imagine if I was a hotel manager, it would annoy me as well. If a monkey just broke into my house and just started throwing shit around. But
into your workplace.
It just. But yeah, anyway.
So Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Leaving aside the scene at the end where the monkey comes in.
Yeah.
And causes havoc.
Yeah, it's a random scene.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes. I think I should probably make one thing clear before we start talking about our movies. I'm like a pretty massive critic, not just of movies, of everything, but myself as well.
Of your friends.
My friends, just I'm very critical, and I generally just tend to speak my mind. So when I talk badly about a movie, it's not because I dislike it. It's because I have an eye for things I don't enjoy. If that makes sense. Generally, like, if I don't care about the movie, I won't even criticize it. It's just like, whatever, that movie was terrible. Like, I move on with my life. So, yeah. So, I remember when I was watching Star Wars, and I was saying a lot of bad things about it afterwards, even though I really, really enjoyed that movie, purely because I just noticed these things. It's like, this bit was weird, that bit was weird, I would have changed that. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and this is the same with Hateful Eight. I thought it was a very good movie. I love Tarantino movies, but Tarantino has a lot of strengths, but he also has a lot of weaknesses. And I feel like this movie emphasized those weaknesses more than others.
It was pretty self-indulgent.
It was. I thought the idea and the premise was better than the actual execution. Like, the first half of the movie I thought was amazing. And I love that. Like, that slow sort of build-up. It was very suspenseful. But, I don't know, there's that certain point in the movie when then the shit just hits the fan and everything goes downhill. Yeah. And then I thought afterwards, like, that bit I didn't particularly like. I think the problem with Tarantino now is all of his movies ends in, like, a bloodbath. And so people expect that now. Yeah. And I know, I would sort of love if his movies, if he did a movie that ended happily, just to throw everyone off. It's like everyone just decided, you know what, instead of just shooting each other, let's just get along. Yeah. And hold hands and sing around the campfire and then go home. Like, I would love to see that happen, but
if it did happen, then like the credits would roll, and then halfway through the credits, it would cut back, and everybody would be like stabbing and shooting.
It was
each
just
other.
A dream or something. It was just something. Yeah. Think about why they can't just get along. But yeah, it's I don't know. Did you like it?
I did, but like you said, even though I liked it, there were things that I felt could have been better. I felt it was too long. Yeah. And it's not that any of the scenes in it were bad. They're all well written and well acted, but some of it could have been left out, and it wouldn't have made the movie any worse.
Yeah, I thought out of the 8 characters, there were a couple that seemed a bit superfluous. Like they didn't need to be there. You know, they just weren't really well rounded.
Like the English guy.
Well, I was thinking more like maybe like the cowboy.
Oh
didn't really do much either. Yeah. You know, I feel like it could be like the Hateful Six in the same. The same thing would have happened, right? Like it's and a lot of people compare it to Reservoir Dogs, and one of the ways that Reservoir Dogs works is because, you know, at the hideout you have a bunch of people coming in at different periods and then interacting with each other. Well, in this, everyone's in that room. Yeah. So when something happens, it doesn't show everyone's reaction to it because you just can't do that. And so but it always showed Samuel Jackson, Kurt Russell, the main guys. Yeah. And so
Walton Goggins.
Yeah, that was the same. And so it felt like a couple of the other characters were a bit shafted and pushed off to the side, and they're almost as an afterthought. Yeah. And I don't know, but like, I love Samuel Jackson in this. I think he pretty much just does whatever in most of his movies. Yeah. But I think Tarantino has a way of like making him bring his A game. Like I remember him in Glorious Bastards, where he played just like this completely, you know, character that he just doesn't normally play. Just does this evil, like hating.
What, you mean Django?
Sorry, Django. Yeah.
See, Glorious Bastards.
You should probably add that. He's just a narrator. Yeah, he's just a narrator. Yeah. And like I really like him in this as well, and it's like the main character as well, which is kind of interesting, I think, because he doesn't often play main characters, but he's like the guy I think you're meant to sympathize with, but not, you know, really. I don't know.
Well, he's still like a horrible asshole.
Yeah.
But from the trailers, it seemed like Kurt Russell was the main character. But
yeah. But
focus changes to Samuel L. Jackson.
And that's what I liked about the movie. Like, the focus changes a lot, and characters that your opinion of the characters changed quite a lot as well. Particularly, like, you brought up, like, Walton Goggins earlier. Like, I thought he was awesome. Like,
he's always awesome.
Like, I haven't watched Justified or anything like that. I don't have a huge experience with him. I saw him in The Shield.
Yeah.
But he played a bit of a dick in The Shield, but he was meant to. But in this movie, it's just like, wow, this guy can actually act. Because he was like the only one I thought where he acted like a person at the start, and then my opinion of him completely switched.
Yeah.
By the end, like, it was just like, wow, okay, he's actually not that bad. And I mean, some people might have different views on that, but yeah, it's weird because it's like going by the internet. I mean, that's probably a dangerous thing to do in the first place. But like the opinion on it seems very divided. I think some people love it and some people don't.
Yeah. I read one review that really didn't like it just because all of the characters are bastards.
Yeah.
There's no one to really root for. I
find that a bit weird because a lot of his movies are like that, you know, and he called it the Hateful Eight, right? Like, it's implied that none of them are decent people from the very start, just by the title and just the premise of it.
Yeah.
You know, 8 not so cool people put into a room together. It's like shit goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it would be the same if you know, it was like the Lovable 8. It's just a bunch of people who just like, no, they kind of get along. Like, they're like, you know what, we're trapped inside this place. Let's just like play games.
Yeah.
You know,
huddle together for
which I think would happen if it was us who was trapped in there. You know, we'll just whip out some board games and play that. But that doesn't make a very intense movie.
No.
So I find that criticism weird. A lot of people who do criticize how slow it was, and I understand that. I love that slow build up though. I like that just that slow burn where you just know stuff happens.
Yeah.
And you just have to sit through it and let it build up. It reminds me of like the tavern scene in Inglourious Bastards, where they're just sitting around for like 20 minutes or however long it was, and you just know that shit is gonna hit the fan, but you just have to sit through everything.
Yeah, and then the guy comes out from the other room.
Yeah. It just builds up and escalates to like a comical degree.
Yeah. And
then when the action does happen, it goes for like 20 seconds, and then everyone's dead. Yeah. You know, and I did enjoy. And I mean, this movie is basically that, but over a long period of time, which I thought was fine, and I think it's very old school Western. A lot of Westerns in that as well, because they didn't really have the money, you know, the budget to engage in massive long shootouts, so they always had.
Well, Tarantino certainly.
No. But this was like a homage to that, right? He loves the old school style, and you can tell that by the credits and the way it's shot. And the music as well, it's all very, very old-fashioned. Yeah. And, like in those old westerns, it would always be a lot of chatting, and then someone, usually Clint Eastwood, you know, or
shoot somebody.
Or John Wayne would just shoot someone, and it'd be done. Yeah. That was the action part of the movie, you know. But like, and this was very much like that. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I really liked it. I'm sort of getting over Tarantino's use of the same actors though.
He does have his favorites.
Yeah, and I don't understand why he does that. Like, he's at his best when he casts unknowns and elevates them. Like, Inglourious Basterds is just... I mean, Brad Pitt's an exception, obviously. But the rest of the cast...
I'm going through the cast now.
Yeah, the rest of the cast were at the time, just unknowns. Like, Christoph Waltz just came out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, I don't know where he pulled him from, but it's
I felt like Tim Roth's part was meant to be Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, I've heard Christoph Waltz was meant to be in this movie, but he couldn't because of James Bond. Yeah. So I'm not sure what role he was meant to play. It did sound like he was meant to be the English guy. Yeah. Because imagine having the way Tim Roth played that character and Christoph Waltz in the same room together would have been a bit weird. Yeah. But maybe he was also going to play something completely against character. I'm not sure.
And one thing I noticed in the opening credits was Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him in any of the trailers. I'm like, he must have like a cameo role or something.
I really wish that he had been uncredited, like he just wasn't in there. Yeah. Because for a lot of the movie, I was like, when is Channing Tatum going to come into it? Yeah. And so when he does come into it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, that makes sense. But I wish he was just a massive surprise. Like, he shows up, you're like, what the hell is he doing this?
It was like in Interstellar when
Matt Damon showed up, and that was amazing.
Matt Damon, because he didn't know he was in there.
I know, exactly. And that was amazing. When he shows up, it's just like, because, you know, I try and avoid as many spoilers as possible about movies. Yeah. And so when I watched Interstellar, And yeah, Matt Damon just shows up, and you're like, what? And it's amazing. Like, it's just awesome. And I wish more movies did that. And yeah, I wish Channing Tatum was just completely, like, he just didn't. I mean, I wasn't even aware he was in it until I saw the credits.
Yeah.
But I wish that, he just hadn't been in the credits at all. And then it's just like, oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, I didn't like how Mark Madsen is in it. Like, he's in, like, so many Tarantino movies.
He just plays himself.
Yeah, like, he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's just like, just play yourself. Like, he barely says anything in here. Like, when he does say stuff, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. He's just being Mark Madsen. He just doesn't... It's like us doing this podcast, you know. He just sits down and just says stuff, and then that's it. That's what he does.
Oh yeah, mumbles.
Yeah. I quite like he's as a person, but yeah, like I just look at the cast of Inglourious Basterds. I look at the cast of Pulp Fiction, and like these are people where Tarantino took people who just weren't very well known.
Wow, they were in Pulp Fiction.
Not really.
John Travolta and Bruce Willis.
No. But they were like has-beens at that time. Like, if you look at John Travolta's list, that period between, say, Saturday Night Fever and Pulp Fiction, it was shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was like, Look Who's Talking and all that sort of stuff. So he took an actor who was essentially... It's a bit like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where he did Third Rock from the Sun, and then did nothing for a while, and then all of a sudden he became a big actor.
Yeah.
That's basically with John Travolta as well. A lot of people don't realise that because we're not old enough. But at the time, before Pulp Fiction, he was nobody. Like, he was just this guy who used to be in Grease, and that's it.
Was Face Off after Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, all that big stuff came after Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson, like, there was a time when Samuel L. Jackson wasn't really a known person. You know?
Now he's like one of the biggest grossing
actors. And like his first big role was Pulp Fiction, and yeah, he's just really good at finding these actors and just making them act really, really well, and then they become big.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, him just using the same people. Like this cast was essentially just the same people he uses, and so I was like, like there was just no real unknowns. I guess Walton Goggins, he was in Django.
Yeah. Like
briefly or whatever, like he just didn't do anything. So maybe he was like the only actor who could really come from this bigger than how he started.
He was also in, apart from his TV stuff, he was in the second G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah, I never watched that. So
no, it wasn't good.
But
Walton Goggins was good.
Yeah, no, yeah, G.I. Joe, no. No. I just didn't. Everyone's like, no, I'm sure it'd be bad, but it'd be entertaining. It's like, yeah, I'll wait for it to come out on video. Like, I don't want to pay money to go see a movie that I'm going to think, this is trash, but it's kind of cool in its own way as well. It's like, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not this sort of thing. But yeah, I think ultimately I enjoyed the movie. There was just a bunch of stuff I couldn't pick. The soundtrack is really good.
I wasn't so keen. Like, normally I love Ennio Morricone Western soundtracks. But some of it was kind of... I don't know, it just felt a bit out of place.
No, it was definitely out of place. But I think that was the point, right?
Yeah.
You know? All the Tarantino movies have music that's out of place.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's just what I enjoy. I love the music where they're out, like, picking the line between the house and the outhouse.
Yeah. And
you got that almost that horror, haunting music that
just
rises
felt like
and rises
somebody
and rises.
Was gonna, like...
And then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about this movie as well. Like, there were so many, like, horror cliches that were thrown out. Like the outhouse and how they bothered picking their line through. And they bothered, like, stabling the horses. They showed all that. And you're like, okay, cool. All this is going to lead somewhere.
Yeah.
And I liked how it just, it set up a bunch of stuff up and then it just didn't do anything with it. And I know, like, I enjoyed that part of it. And I don't know if that was deliberate or Tarantino had written stuff to happen outside and then he was like, no, I can't be bothered.
I think it was just to build up the...
Yeah, it was definitely built up. But it made you think that things were going to head in a direction that it just never did.
Yeah.
And it was that misdirection. And yeah, I really like that part. Because the entire time I was like, okay, cool. When is someone going to go outside and have to go down that line and blizzard and everything? But yeah, it just didn't happen. In fact, beyond like the first opening scene, they didn't really go outside. Like you never saw them go outside. Like,
well, maybe part of the reason that scene was there was to show like nobody can go outside. If you go outside, you'll just die.
Yeah, and maybe I think it was also partially to show Obi, the stagecoach driver, how competent he was for thinking things like that.
Yeah. I don't
know. Yeah, it was good. I think people should go see it. It's definitely more similar to, say, Reservoir Dogs and, like, Kill Bill Volume 2 than a lot of these other movies, which have become more action-oriented. I think, like, Django. It's a lot of people like, it's Django meets Reservoir Dogs, but apart from the setting, it's not really Django-ish at all, I don't think.
And even the setting, like, it's a similar time period, but...
Yeah. I'm not sure how... like Tarantino's Eight is part of the same universe, but it doesn't link up at all.
No.
It would have been pretty awesome if Django was one of the 8. I would have loved that. And then he just dies early. I actually would have absolutely loved that. I think it'd been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Hateful Eight's good.
I did hear one good theory, which was that Kurt Russell's character in this is like an ancestor of MacReady from The Thing.
Yeah.
Who also gets trapped in like a snowed-in base. And he doesn't know who to trust.
Well, I mean, reading Tarantino interviews, because I do a lot, because I find him entertaining if he's a bit weird.
He's pretty weird.
Yes, he's weird and very obnoxious. But
yeah.
he seems to know it as well, which is fine. But like he watched a lot of The Thing, and this was a movie that was like a direct representation of that.
Oh, right.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that's why he cast Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Just because, hey, you're in a thing, we'll put you in here as well. Which is weird because I feel like Kurt Russell I thought was one who was cast against type. Because his character is really a bit of an arsehole in this.
Yeah, he was constantly like punching Daisy.
Yeah,
in the
like
face.
he always plays that sort of anti-hero-ish type of person like Snake Plissken or MacReady. But he's never like been like a violent person. You know what I mean? He doesn't go around in Escape from New York just punching like girls. In this though, he's
not playing like the Punisher or anything.
He's kind of like the you know, all the trailers and everything made out that he's the character you're gonna like.
Yeah.
But he really is just an arsehole.
Yeah.
Like he's just like I didn't like his character.
He's pretty dumb too.
Yeah, and he's racist and everyone's racist. But I didn't like his character from the start. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, okay, cool. It's Kurt Russell. It was weird because I love Kurt Russell, so it was like jarring. My soul was like, oh, it's Kurt Russell, you gotta like him. Yeah. But my brain was like, nah, this guy's a complete dick. Like, he's just a complete dick. Like, he's what Kurt Russell normally plays, but over-exaggerated. And, I mean, that was obviously part of the point. But I liked how that trailer threw you off like that. Like, I don't know. But, it was good. I thought it was good. I think. I recommend if people are into that sort of closed room sort of thing, it's definitely worth seeing. And I think if you're a Tarantino fan.
It's almost got some, like, murder mystery elements.
Yeah, but...
Like with Poirot or whatever, and then the lights go out and they come back on and somebody's been stabbed.
Yeah. I did like the murder mystery aspect of it. I didn't like how, ultimately, there was no mystery. Like, there was no way you could guess.
Yeah.
You know, there was no clues or anything spread out. It wasn't like a standard murder mystery. There wasn't like Agatha Christie where you can maybe, find stuff. Yeah. You can maybe predict who did it. Like, in this, it was like, you just had no idea because there wasn't enough signs or enough tells.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I part of it is I'm not sure if that's just me jumping to conclusions about how the way the movie should be and how it wasn't. I don't know. And it might be like Jackie Brown for me, where when I first watched Jackie Brown, I was like, this is not very good at all. But
I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, yeah, well, I think Jackie Brown's one of those movies you like more the older you get. It's a very...
So I should wait until I'm about to die and then watch it.
Yes. Okay. If you watch it in your deathbed, you'll love it. No, it's very Pulp Fiction-esque in its style and its themes, and I think that's one of the issues that people had with it, because they watched it and then they watched Pulp Fiction until Jackie Brown came out, which is similar, and they're like comparing them, and you can't compare anything to Pulp Fiction, really. Yeah. But, like, I've watched it a couple of times since, and it's a much, much better movie than I remember it being. It's just a lot slower and a lot more subtle and a lot more mature. Like, it's probably his most mature movie. Yeah. Like, there's not a huge amount of violence in it. It's just, a lot of it's just really Samuel Jackson talking to Robert De Niro. That's basically it. Which, really...
Pretty good.
Yeah, if it was a sum up of, like, any movie, it'd be fine, right? Yeah. And Chris Rock is in it. Like, it's just... it's just... Michael Keaton. Yeah, Hateful Eight's good. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is... I do want to sum that up for people who care that I'm much more likely to talk bad things about something than good things, even if I really greatly enjoyed it, because it's just the sort of person I am.
Well, it's more interesting. Rather than just saying, yeah, it was good.
If I didn't like it, I would have, I would be like, yeah, it's shit, and then moved on with my life.
Yeah.
But
not talked.
Yeah, but I've actually thought about it and analysed it and read reviews and theories and everything about it. It's generally what I do. I can't just watch a movie. I analyse it down to a focal point and see what other people think about it.
I do want to see it again. I think there'll be stuff, like I won't be thinking so much about who the bad guys are and what's actually going on. From
what reviewers say, there is stuff that you pick up in the second one. Yeah. Which sort of shows what's actually happening. Once you know everyone's like ideals and what they want to do, it makes a lot more sense. Like, particularly, I feel like Samuel Jackson's character is his character is very smart in what he does and how he deliberately does this and that. And like on the first watch, so you don't really quite understand what he's doing.
Yeah. I don't want to go back to the movies and watch it though. It's too damn long.
No. I'll definitely wait for like Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
When it comes out. Netflix is pretty awesome. A lot of people give it shit, but
yeah, I don't really understand that.
It's like what, $15 a month or whatever.
Yeah, not even like $12 a month for unlimited HD streaming of a wide selection of things.
No, yeah, it's just the TV shows as well. Right? I just find it weird because I work at JB Hi-Fi and people still buy DVDs, and you know, a DVD of a TV show will cost like $20 to $30.
What, like a whole season?
Yeah, like a whole season.
Right.
But you can watch whole seasons of this on Netflix for you know, like $15 a month. Like you can watch as much of it as you want. And so I find it weird the way some people complain about stuff.
Yeah.
Particularly coffee. I buy 2 coffees a day. It's $10, and a lot of people do that. But they complain about Netflix. I find it weird. I find it strange.
Yeah, people seem to get upset that a particular show they want is not on there, and they're like, "Oh, it's worthless to me."
Yeah,
but there's lots of other shows you could watch.
I think part of it as well is because it's not media that you own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have no physical representation of that.
But I've got like 100 DVDs in the other room. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I know. But I think a lot of people like to pay money and get something physical from it, whether it's coffee or a DVD or anything really.
Yeah.
And so when you got Netflix and you stream something, you watch it, and then that's it. You move on. I know. I think that still goes. It's particularly in Australia that still goes against what a lot of people view in terms of like possessions.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I'm gonna say I don't like clutter. Like I don't like crap in my house. You know, it's why I used to buy like collector's editions of games that came with like statues. I don't do that anymore. Because there's just nowhere around. Yeah. The only clutter I have in my room is Geelong. All Geelong stuff. You know.
Geelong quilt cover.
Well, I do have a Geelong quilt cover, but I don't use it.
You keep it in mint condition.
Yes, I have Geelong everything. Like people don't understand how much Geelong stuff I have. I have like. I was cutting my Geelong glasses the other day, and I have like something like 16 glasses and like 10 mugs.
I don't own that many glasses and mugs in general.
Most of it is still packed away because I don't have space in my room for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just owning DVDs and Blu-rays nowadays, it just boggles my mind.
What about DVDs of Geelong Grand Finals?
I do have DVDs of Geelong stuff, yes, but they've only been in like 14, 15 Grand Finals, and like since DVDs were around, they've only been in like 8 or something. So it's not, and usually like I have a collection that's like, all the Geelong highlights, for instance, in each Grand Final. You know, that doesn't take up any space. But like my mum has racks and racks of DVDs. She loves that stuff. Yeah. And so using Netflix for her would just I think it would she just wouldn't do it. Like it's just something that's completely and utterly alien to her. And like she has like a room just dedicated just to racks of DVDs. And it's impressive for like someone who used to collect stuff. But at the same time it's like, yeah, you could just turf all this and just get Netflix and maybe Foxtel. And you will save money, and you could just, but God,
like, I wish Foxtel would die.
Why?
Because they have rights to a bunch of shows that Netflix then can't get.
Yeah,
but I don't want to pay like $200 a month or whatever it is for Foxtel just to watch Game of Thrones.
One, I'm not going to talk about Foxtel because I sell it. So it's like I don't want to bring my JB Hi-Fi salesman technique onto it. It's not as expensive as it used to be.
Yeah,
and
we should qualify our recommendation earlier. Don't watch Hateful Eight at the cinema. Wait until it comes out for sale at JB Hi-Fi and then go and buy it there.
Oh, for sure. In fact, wait for it to not be on sale and buy it.
Speaking of owning lots of DVDs, if you wanted to have a collection of all the Marvel superhero movies, you'd need a whole dedicated shelf for that.
Yes.
That's our tortured segue of the episode.
Yeah. I've been wanting to talk about for a long time the oversaturation of not just Marvel, but superhero in general, because DC's getting in on that now.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to love seeing like every Marvel movie. I'm not against Marvel movies. I'm not against superhero movies, but there's just so much of it out there. It'd be like, I love Tarantino, but if he made 6 movies a year, it'd just be like, what is going on? Like,
all in like a shared universe.
Yeah, can you imagine him making 6 movies a year, like each 3 hours long? With the same stuff. You just be like, this is nuts. This is crazy, and I'll get sick of it. And it's the same with Marvel. And I think it doesn't help that they're all basically the same plot-wise. They all got that origin arc, and they have the bad guy, and he has like a MacGuffin of some sort where it's going to destroy the world or the universe or whatever. And they stop him in the nick of time. Yeah. And it's like...
And nobody ever really gets hurt or...
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, no one... There's no stakes, because... Like, I enjoy them. Like, Avengers 1 I enjoyed a lot. I wasn't a huge fan of the second one. as much as some people seem to be, because there is no stakes. You know, like in Avengers 2, you know no one's gonna die. Like it's not like Iron Man's gonna be killed or anything like that. Yeah, and like even like you never see people dying. You know, like when the thing's dropping.
Yeah.
Like you don't see civilians just getting wiped out. Like it's just like even I always had that bit in the first one as well. It was like felt jarring to me when the aliens attacked New York. Is it New York?
Yeah, it's New York.
Yeah, and you just don't see anyone die.
No.
Like cars getting blown up, buildings getting destroyed. That's it.
Yeah.
You see me like I know I miss the old days of like Independence Day where you just see people just get raped like just constantly. like there's just constant death. Like War of the Worlds is another example. Like I love that movie because you just see just people just constantly dying because that's what would happen. You know, and yeah, I don't know. I think there's just too much of it, and there's no stakes.
I think Hateful Eight is a useful comparison
Oh, yeah.
because they have just one movie with these characters, and they spend time building them up as characters, and so you get interested in who they are and what they want, and then they fucking kill them, or they their head literally explodes.
Yeah.
Or they get their dick shot off, or whatever.
One of the reasons why I love the Batman trilogy, like the Christopher Nolan one, obviously, and one of the reasons why I love something like The Dark Knight is, I mean, I don't necessarily, you know Batman wasn't gonna die.
Yeah.
But no one else felt safe, I guess. Like, particularly like, Two-Face, the guy who played Two-Face, whatever his name was.
Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, particularly him. Like, I thought, okay, it's a high chance that this guy could die.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, that's another thing as well, where the villains don't seem to leave a lasting impression. I guess, like, Loki and stuff does, because they're spreading it over. But, like, in the Batman trilogy in particular, like, Joker left, like, a lasting impression.
Oh, yeah.
And people always talk about how cool Ultron was. And yeah, I thought he was cool, but he wasn't in it enough.
I forgot Ultron
Yeah, that's the thing, like, he just
existed, except that he was in the name of the movie.
He just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And he just had no weight behind him. You know, he just talked a lot, and then just got his ass kicked.
He was a grumpy robot or something?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people talked about him because it was James Spader. And I think it's universally accepted that James Spader is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, he was voice acting.
Yeah, he was, but he just wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's unfair to compare everything to, like, the Joker. Like, not all villains should be like that. But Joker had this real weight behind him. And he was almost like the main character of that movie.
Yeah.
Like, Batman was just completely overshadowed by him. And I like I like movies that focus on the villain a lot. And I feel like superhero movies don't do that enough.
Well, villains are just more interesting than heroes usually.
They are, but...
Because heroes are easy to understand. It's just we're saving people because it's a good thing to do.
I watched Guardians of the Galaxy recently.
Oh man, that had shit villains.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I never saw it at the cinema because I generally don't watch superhero stuff at the cinema anymore unless it's like Avengers.
Yeah.
And yeah, like everyone talked about how awesome it was, and yeah, it was alright. But yeah, the villains were just terrible, and it was the same thing. Like, it was the same thing. Like, this guy has a MacGuffin that's gonna destroy this planet.
Yeah. We
gotta stop him, and it's like, and then the theme in the end was like friendship, like triumphs over evil or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just the same stuff. Like, I feel like you could sum up the entire plot in one line.
Go on then.
And of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of people band together and stop a bad guy who's got a big giant thing. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know, and they all do this, and it's just like, I feel like it's just oversaturated the market massively.
Well, they're all these Marvel movies are building towards, what's his name, the purple guy? Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos, yeah.
With his Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
That's gonna, like, destroy whatever. And it's exactly the same thing. Some guy has a thing that's gonna destroy the world.
Yeah.
And the heroes have to stop him.
And that's another thing I don't like. I enjoy everything working into each other. I think that's alright, that's fine. But you have to watch, like, every movie to get, like, an idea of the overgrasping plot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, everyone talks about how powerful Thanos is. But for someone who's really powerful, he hasn't done anything. Like, he's just...
Yeah.
Like,
He's just a big purple guy sitting on an asteroid.
Yeah, like, it's just... I know, yeah, I'll say, yeah. And I know a lot of people love Marvel. Like, do you agree with that sentiment, or disagree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I still find their movies enjoyable to watch. Yeah. But there's nothing, like, particularly meaningful or memorable about a lot of them. And
that's the problem. Like, they're enjoyable, but that's it. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, that's alright. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like I said, like, when I saw Batman Begins, I was just blown away about how good it was. I wasn't expecting it to be good at all, because it's Batman. I was like...
the last one we saw was Batman and Robin.
Yeah, like, I'll go see it, I guess. But it was really, really good. And I feel like then you got The Dark Knight, and I feel like that changed a lot of the superhero formula quite a lot. And
well, even though like, obviously Batman didn't die in The Dark Knight, but his life got fucked up by the end of it.
Yeah, this is the thing. There's no lasting thing, really.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, with the shared universe thing, like, you can't have... Because somebody might not watch every movie, you can't really have any significant consequences for somebody. Well, like, if suddenly Iron Man's arm got cut off or something, and then he showed up in another movie with his arms back on, then people be like, what the fuck? But if he suddenly didn't have an arm, then people be like, what the fuck? So
I know.
They have to kind of stay the same.
I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
I would just love for them in, like, Civil War, just for Iron Man to die. I think that'd be amazing. I think they just need to... Yeah, I know. It's just the stakes. There's no stakes, so therefore I struggled to care about people. I actually really liked Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I liked the first half anyway. Because I thought that Nick Fury might actually die.
Yeah.
You know, we had this stuff. I was like, okay, cool, he's actually dead.
No, of course he's not gonna.
And then there's this weird bait and switch at the end. It's like, no, he's not actually dead. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, Nick Fury could die. Like, does it make a difference if he's still alive or not? He shows up for like a minute in each movie and does his thing and then leaves.
Even fucking... Coulson.
Yeah.
Got stabbed to death.
They died.
And you saw him dead.
And then they make a TV show.
Yeah, and then he's back alive.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't it. There's no stakes. If an ordinary guy like Coulson can survive, it's like... Like, I know, like, that... what's that? Quicksilver or whatever.
That was so shit.
I know he died. It would not surprise me he comes back. Like, it would just not surprise me at all. It's like, yeah, cool. Shows up and that's it. And it's like,
Plus, compared to the X-Men movie Quicksilver, he was so lame.
Yeah, I haven't seen any like the X-Men movies.
Oh, you haven't seen Days of Future Past?
No, the first three ruined it for me, so...
okay.
Yeah, it's just like... Nah, not gonna happen. It'd be like if they made a second Dungeons & Jackson and like everyone loved it. I probably still wouldn't watch it because the first one just ruined it for me.
They probably did.
Maybe, yeah. They're like a direct-to-video
sort
of sequel. Yeah,
it's
maybe.
Probably a whole series.
I don't know. I never even really bothered to look into that sort of thing. And Jason Alexander probably did the same thing. Maybe it's he opened the second hotel and maybe it was like two monkeys or like a whole whatever the collective noun of a monkey is showing up. A tribe?
It wouldn't have been Jason Alexander in the second one though. It would have been like the low rent Jason Alexander.
Yeah. Like I don't know. What's his face? The guy who plays the mall cop.
Oh, Paul Blart.
Yeah.
No,
who's that guy?
I don't know his real name.
Yeah. Kevin James, right? It's Kevin James.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, his movies are shit.
Yeah. All those movies are terrible. I don't quite... It makes me realise how out of touch I am with humanity. That those movies still generate enough profit to continue making those sorts of things. I just don't.
Yeah.
I was reading how like The Ridiculous Six is like the most watched video ever on Netflix. And like, why? And to be fair, I contributed to that.
You watched it?
No. My housemate Mike had it on, and I watched like a couple minutes. And I was like, yeah, cool, that's it, I'm done. And he watched another couple minutes, and then he was done as well. So, but maybe maybe everyone watches it out of morbid curiosity and gives up after 5 minutes, but that's adding to the overall thing. Because I imagine Netflix doesn't care, right? It's adding to their stream sort of things. They're like, 1 billion people have watched Ridiculous 6, and we've only watched it because we've heard it was so terrible. Like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I saw the Half in the Bag
review
of Ridiculous 6, and that was all I've seen of it.
Yeah,
all I know is there's a donkey like uncontrollably shitting all over the room.
Yeah. But I mean, they take the piss out of Adam Sandler a lot, right? So it's basically that. Every time he does a movie, they do a review of it. Yeah. And they pretty much just say how it's like the most despicable thing in the world. So, and it just feels like his movies get worse and worse, and they probably don't. We're just so over that crap. And I love how like I'll criticize Adam Sandler, and people bring up Happy Gilmore as being really good. And it was, but that's like 15 years ago or something now, right? Like
20 years ago.
Like, it was just a ridiculous amount of time ago. I don't know if you can like, people can rest on like one good movie, from ages and ages and ages ago. So yeah, anyway, that's my rant about Marvel. I think there's too much. It's just Marvel, it's DC as well. And then you got TV series now, and it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, do you watch watch the Marvel Netflix shows?
Yeah, I watched Daredevil.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Jessica Jones is good too.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. Yeah. I probably will, because a lot of people said it's a bit different to the usual superhero.
Yeah, it's quite different.
Yeah, so I might watch it. But yeah, that was fine. But then you got like Supergirl and stuff.
Yeah. I saw the trailer. It looked so terrible.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, and then I haven't really watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I hate that name, by the way. 'Cause
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I love the show The S.H.I.E.L.D. And I always bring it up, and people are like, oh yeah, and then they'll start talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, no, I don't think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. let's just move on. It's just,
if it had Walton Goggins in it, it might be.
Yeah. Have you actually seen The Shield?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised because Taz loves it as well.
Yeah.
And
I haven't watched The Wire yet.
Oh, that's right. The Wire's harder to get into than Shield, though. I can understand people not liking The Wire, but I just want to point out that I have the greatest taste in TV shows known to man. Everything I like is awesome.
We should have mentioned that at the start of the episode. Gav actually officially has the greatest taste in TV shows.
Everything I endorse as a TV show is amazing. None of that True Blood, Vampire Diaries shit for me. I watch the high class stuff, and it's all good because I like good writing, I like good characters, I like good villains, and so every show I like has that sort of thing, with the exception of Banshee.
Banshee?
Yeah, it's like I really like it, but it's a bit trashy.
Yeah.
It's like True Blood, but if you replace True Blood with... essentially the premise of the show is there's this guy who gets out of jail. He's hiding from a drug lord who's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
He comes across a sheriff of a small town. His first day, no one's met him. Sort of like in Glorious Bastards, how he's on his way to that town to become sheriff. Apparently that happens.
Hateful Eight?
Yeah, sorry. Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Apparently that happens. They employ people without meeting them. I don't know. Anyway, there's a shootout in the tavern. The sheriff dies.
Is this modern day or?
Yeah. But it's very old timey because it's set in a country town in the middle of nowhere. So this convict decides to take the identity of the sheriff who's dead.
Okay.
And then pretend to be him as a way of hiding out. And so he's in this town and he's the worst sheriff in the world. He just goes around beating people up.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you replace True Blood with a sheriff who just mass murders people, then that would basically be the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So loads of sex and nudity.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of.
I just imagine.
Oh, there's a lot of sex, a lot. He basically sleeps with every girl he meets. There's a lot of sex. There's incest as well, or implied incest, with other particular characters, and it's a good show, but I recognize that it's trash.
Okay.
And so it's not usually among my recommendations of it. If you like True Blood, you would probably like it. I watched 6 episodes of True Blood, I think. I was sort of half dating a girl who was into it, and so I watched it as a way of essentially taking that further than just kind of girlfriend.
Right.
It didn't work out.
No relationship based on True Blood is gonna last.
Well, you got to make sacrifices, right, to get what you want.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be the first time. And True Blood's hardly the worst sacrifice I've ever made. So, yeah. What were we talking about?
I don't even remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How amazing I am at TV shows. Yeah, so anything I endorse, people should watch.
Well, do you want to endorse anything apart from Banshee, which is currently your number 1 recommendation?
No. My number 1 recommendation is, I think, The Wire, The Shield. No one ever talks about The Shield. Because everyone knows what The Wire is, right? Yeah. It's this critically acclaimed show. I think The Shield is up there. It's... The first season is this cop drama, but then after that, it's amazing. So, The Shield and Person of Interest.
No.
Yeah. You haven't watched enough of it.
I've tried a couple of times.
Yeah, and
it's just
That's another problem with recommending shows that have a lot of writing and characters. They tend to build it up over a long period of time. You don't have that. You don't have that in movies. As much. You can't really build up a character over 4 hours.
No.
Well, and someone like Person of Interest, the first 8 episodes is just whatever, and then it gradually heaps on the universe, and yeah. So yeah, that's it. Person of Interest, The Shield, and The Wire.
If you were to endorse a movie in the Die Hard series...
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll talk about this, yeah.
Which one would it be?
Yeah, for those who don't know Russ and I that well, I'm not sure how you'd be listening to this podcast in the first place if you didn't. We have had a long-standing, I wouldn't say argument, but which one?
It's a spirited debate.
Spirited debate about which Die Hard's better, the first or the third. I'm a big believer in the third, and you're the first. Most people seem to agree with you, I think, in our discussions.
Yeah.
I know Kale, my best friend, has my back when it comes to the third.
Well, he does when you're around. But behind your back, he's like, nah, number 1.
Oh, yeah, I don't
totally
believe you. Yeah, I find like Kale has my back on most things I believe in, though, so maybe that's why, we're best friends. But,
yeah.
I mean, I guess is this in the perfect time to bring up, particularly with Anna Rickman's unfortunate death.
That was a bit upsetting.
Yeah, it was a bit random as well, because, he didn't seem... Last time we saw him, he seemed normal, right?
Yeah.
It's just weird. I guess cancer does that. It's just done.
Well, people seem to be able to hide it pretty well.
Yeah, like, I guess because in the movies, when you have cancer, you always look like you've lost, like, 1 billion kilos.
Yeah.
Just, like, this withered husk. And maybe for some cancers that's the case, but, I mean, they clearly weren't like that. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe they just sort of exaggerated just for viewing effect.
Yeah, well, it's more dramatic on the screen. If you just look like a normal person, and then, like, you die, it would be a bit boring.
Yeah, so Die Hard. The third one is clearly the better one.
Okay, so given that my position of the first one being the best is like the commonly accepted one, why don't you like it?
Well, I do
as much as the third? Why do you hate Alan Rickman?
The first one's still a close second behind the third. You know what I mean? Like they're very, very similar in terms of quality.
Yeah.
And then you got a gap, and then you got the second one, then another gap, and you got the fourth, and then the fifth isn't even.
Well, no, I would contend that the fourth is better than the second.
Okay, that's cool. I mean,
that's a separate argument.
I have no strong belief about either of those two. I enjoy them both.
They're a long way behind one and three.
Yeah. And the fifth is just not in the same spectrum.
No, it's shit. It's
not even. Yeah, it's not even a Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if they made Raid 3 and they cast Kevin James. Like, you just watch it and be like, yeah, okay, I understand technically it's a sequel, but
yeah.
No. So having said that, I probably would watch that.
Yeah, I would totally watch that movie. Have Indonesian guys kicking him in the face. It'd be great.
Yeah. The third one, like, it comes down to what you enjoy as a movie. And the first one's more contained, obviously. Set in a building. You have minimal characters.
Yeah.
Minimal main characters, anyway. Like, he kills a lot of people. And a lot of people love that, and that's fine. But a really, really good sequel is all about, like, escalation. You can't have the same thing, right? You can't just do the same thing. And
unless you're Adam Sandler.
Yeah. And, like, the second one didn't really have that escalation.
Well, it kind of did. There was all these planes flying around.
No, I know, but it still felt almost still. It was still in that same confined area.
Yeah.
It might have been a bigger area and more people were involved.
Yeah.
But it just, and like we were talking about it before the podcast, how the villains were just like, you know, like there wasn't that escalation, and it just seemed like a random one. Like it just didn't have any relevance to the previous one.
Yeah.
You know, I liked how the third one references the previous one. You had the main villain, her links ties to the main villain in the first one. You know, Jeremy Irons, Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
I mean, they're meant to be brothers, but they have completely different accents and stuff, right? I find that a bit weird. But I also have a different accent to my sister, so it's all about escalation when it comes to sequels. You got to be bigger, you got to be better, you got to be badder. You look at like the Alien movies.
Yeah.
First Alien, very confined, very claustrophobic of horror.
Yeah.
Second one, rather than make another horror, they just escalated. More characters, more guns, more aliens, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked quite well to the point where those two are basically separate movies.
Yeah.
And
they're both very good.
Yeah, they are both very, very good. And like, I'm still undecided which one I prefer, and I think it depends on my mood. The third one did the escalation perfectly because it's set in a city.
Yeah. You
have a lot more characters. You have John McClane. He always had sidekicks before, but you actually have an actual sidekick who's an integral part of the plot. And I like how there's more characters. I like how you got the police chief, you got the bomb expert, you got other people involved in this. It's not just John McClane.
Yeah.
Which how it works in real life, really. And they're not idiots. Like in the first one, everyone's an idiot. Like the FBI guys are just idiots. Like, but in the third one, they're not.
Chief Dwayne T. Robinson.
Yeah. In the third one, they're not. In the third one, they seem reasonably competent at their job. Like Jeremy Irons is still smart on all of them. Yeah. But that's because he's a die-hard villain, and they generally are smarter.
Yeah.
And yeah, that escalation is perfect. I liked how you saw John McClane in his own environment, and how he's like at his lowest point, right? Like he's been suspended off his job. He hasn't spoken to his wife for like however long.
He's an alcoholic.
He's an alcoholic, a complete alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like he just has nothing going for him at all. And I liked how the movie just took him and he rose to the occasion. Yeah. And that's why I love that John McClane in the third one more than the first. Because the first, he's just normal. Like, him and his wife are having issues, but that's it, right? Yeah. Like, the third one, he's just complete, like, he's basically a bum.
Yeah.
And, he's elevated, and he manages to save the day to some extent. I don't know. I enjoy those aspects of it. I like how the bomb they placed at the school, like, it was a fake bomb.
Yeah.
But how they weren't able to stop it, I like that. I like how Yeah, I know. There's so many things I like about Samuel Jackson. I thought was amazing in it.
Yeah,
and I like how him and Bruce Willis really complement each other well, and I think that's another thing I like about it as well. Just that thing, and yeah, I know. That's why I love the third one. I think the third one is a more superior movie, because yeah.
Well, I like the containment of the first one,
and that's cool. Obviously, like
when he revisits locations that you've seen before, it feels like a real place that he's in.
Yeah. And I think that's why it just depends what you look for in movies. I actually prefer Jeremy Irons to Alan Rickman.
Really?
A lot of people disagree with me.
Yeah, I disagree with you.
I think
Jeremy Irons is great, but Alan Rickman's Hans Gruber is like the classic villain.
Yeah, but I like how Jeremy Irons. I like how he had that plot to make it look like he just had a grudge against John McClane. And then he's actually stealing gold.
Yeah.
And then they found out, he was actually meant to destroy the gold. And then he's actually just keeping it for himself. You know, he was basically just double-crossing everyone.
Yeah.
And I sort of like that. I don't know, and like I said, there weren't idiots in that movie. So it felt like he was just very, very intelligent. Well, in the first one, Alan Rickman was obviously an intelligent guy. But he was just dealing with a bunch of idiots.
Bumbling fools.
Yeah, and so his villainy, I thought, wasn't... I know. But, Alan Rickman's still very, very good. And he had better supporting villains, I think, than the third one. That's for sure. Like the black hacker guy.
Oh, yeah, Theo.
I only know him from Texas Walker Ranger.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that.
I've
only ever seen him in...
Oh, he's like Chuck Norris's partner. He does nothing as far as I can remember. I've only seen a few episodes.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I used to start to watch David Letterman. And they always had Texas Walker Ranger just before David Letterman, or at some point then.
Yeah.
So I would watch it while doing something in the background. And he was that guy was always in it. And he just didn't really do anything. Like he was just like, oh, yeah, it's a Die Hard guy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I know him from. Awesome resume. I'm sure he's done heaps of stuff since then, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
I'm sure if you actually ever got any comments, which you probably don't. It's probably like a fan of his out there going, he actually did this, did that, if this was a bigger podcast.
We're really aiming for that market, the fans of that guy.
That's another thing you can link in the podcast, is
will.
maybe try and get that fan in. And Texas Walker Ranger, Chuck Norris, there you go. You can throw all the stuff out.
All the people on the internet from 10 years ago will be Googling Texas Walker Ranger.
Yeah, and this will come up. It's like how I met Video Gamer. We both listened to Video Gamer podcast.
Yeah.
How I actually came across that was Sean Bean.
Oh, really?
There was this podcast where it's like, where Brett Phipps was like, fuck Sean Bean. Like he doesn't like Sean Bean. And I remember I was like looking up like YouTube videos of Sean Bean's deaths.
Yeah.
Everyone does. And it came up there. I was like, okay, I'll listen to this. I was like, this is actually an amazing show. And so that's how I got into that. So you might have the same. Someone might be googling black guy Texas Walker Ranger, and this will come up. Done. Does this show actually appear on Google?
What?
Or YouTube? This show. Is this on YouTube?
No, it's not on YouTube.
How come you're not put on YouTube?
We haven't worked out how to do it yet.
Okay, cool.
We're on SoundCloud and iTunes and Stitcher. We're on Stitcher.
I don't even know what that is.
No, neither do I.
It's still a pretty good step.
Alan put us on there.
I feel like you should go on YouTube because everyone's on YouTube nowadays.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I
It seems a bit weird though to have a podcast on YouTube because we don't have any graphics.
No, but like people still, I feel that's why people look for a lot of their videos.
Yeah.
And that's where I listen to all my podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
Even when you're out running.
Oh well, no, I don't download directly from YouTube. But if I'm at home, or like looking at new stuff to watch, I always like do a search on YouTube because everyone still puts their videos on YouTube, even if they're not, if it's just the one graphic and then talking over. But yeah, so Die Hard 3, I think I think that's it's just clearly superior. The train scene is awesome as well.
The train scene is awesome, but it has some. I don't think there's any weak parts of the first one in my mind, but like the end of Die Hard 3 just feels pretty weak to me.
Yeah,
how they got with the helicopter. And then
how they got Jeremy Irons was not great.
No,
I think I would have preferred if he just got away.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember. I don't know how true this is. I remember reading a script where they had a number of different endings potentially filmed for it, and one of them is that Jeremy Irons just got away.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been a great conclusion to John McClane's arc if the bad guy got away, but he just got over it, or whatever, or he just
shot himself.
No. Like he just ended up calling his wife and then reconciled with her, and that was it. I would have loved if he got away.
I think I would like that ending a lot better if it just ended when he calls Holly.
Yeah, or maybe have like Jeremy Irons give him a call like flash forward 6 months and Jeremy Irons gives me a call and have like a chat on the phone and then that's it.
Yeah.
I would love something like that.
And Jeremy Irons is sitting on a beach.
Yeah, and then you could, if you wanted, you could potentially set up for a fourth if you want to do a fourth and have Jeremy Irons involved, something like that.
Well, he's got like billions of dollars.
I know, but this is Hollywood. You know, it at least sets it up. So I would have preferred if he got away. But I mean, we discussed like before the podcast, we discussed Heat, and that has a similar sort of end. Well, I didn't like the end. It's like Al Pacino kills Robert De Niro.
They're like running around an airport or something.
Yes, yes, and I would have preferred if Robert De Niro just got away. Like he had a chance of just escaping, but he had to tie up loose ends. Rather than tie up those loose ends, he should have just left.
Yeah.
And I
Spoiler
think
warning for Heat, by the way.
Yeah. Sorry about that. And I think I would preferred. I like stuff where bad guys get away. Not in all movies, because that'd just be terrible. But I think if it makes it realistic, and if it fits the overall plotline, and I think it would have fit Die Hard 3.
Yeah. It
wouldn't have fit Die Hard 1. If Alan Rickman, if his plan succeeded and he just walked out or whatever, then it wouldn't have fit that at all.
No.
But I think it would have fit the third one. And I think it would have, I thought it would have tied into John McClane's storyline pretty well, but oh well. They gotta have closure.
Yeah.
Apparently. This is
I guess it's the Hollywood thing. You gotta have the good guy win and the bad guy get killed and
yeah.
But like when he comes down on the helicopter and he's like hovering a meter off the ground under the telephone wires.
Yeah.
And he's got like a fucking M60 or something pointed right at McClane, and McClane's like, say hello to your brother. And he shoots the wires and Jeremy Irons goes, what do I do? Instead of just blasting him with a fucking cannon.
Yeah.
Bothers me.
Yeah. I mean, that happens in a lot of movies, right? Where like the good guy always has time to say like a one-liner before he kills the bad guy. When like realistically, the villain should just shot him ages ago. Yeah. Like just shot him. Yeah, and just one of the things, not to bring up Banshee again, but one of the things I love about
Banshee podcast.
One of the things I love about that show is there's like two main characters, the cop, and then you have another guy who's like a dodgy criminal. Not really. He looks after the town. They never do one-liners. If they're after someone else, they'll just shoot them. You know, like, and that's what I love about it. Like, they don't go, hand up this like one-liner and give them time for the bad guy to shoot him 10 times, but they don't. Like, they just literally walk in, and the shield's the same actually. The shield. There's this one scene. It's not really spoilerish. There's one scene in the shield where
it's the end of the very last episode.
Yes. Vic Mackey gets killed. No, it's at some point in the first or second season, and it sums up Vic Mackey, the main character, really, really well. Yeah. Where he lures an assassin out, like a drug dealer. They've hired that drug dealers have cartel has hired an assassin to basically kill him. He lures him out, and then follows him to like a house, and Vic Mackey's like, "Oh, freeze!" And the guy puts up his hand, and he's smiling because he has no evidence against him. And then Vic Mackey just shoots him, and it's like, to me that sums up that really, really well. And I wish more people did that. Just shot people.
Does he like frame him with evidence or?
Oh, like he pretends like he gets out the guy's bag and like aims it in the direction he was standing. Like he doesn't just shoot him and then that's it. Like he covers his tracks. Like he does that through the entire show. But I when I watched it, I laughed for like 10 minutes. I found it absolutely hilarious. And I think it would be just amazing if John McClane said like a one-liner and then Jeremy Irons like shot him in like mid-sentence. Say hello to it. But he didn't. It's Hollywood. But yeah.
So I've been watching the second season of Penny Dreadful. Yeah. Lately.
A lot of people talk about that show, like around my being. I never really watched it. Yeah, I do. I know a lot of people are into it.
I watch it with my girlfriend, but I haven't met anyone else who has been watching it. It's like set in Victorian London, and most of the characters are legends or supernatural things from that time.
Okay, like werewolf and stuff.
Yeah. Well, there is a werewolf. It's one of the main characters, and there's Dr. Frankenstein is in it.
Is Jack the Ripper in it?
No.
Okay. But
there's witches and I'm going through all the things. Anyway, the bad guys of the first season are vampires. Okay. They've dealt with the vampires.
Yeah, that's probably the case.
Season 2, bad guys are witches. And I have no idea how this show makes its money back. Because the main characters are played by Eva Green, Hollywood actress, Josh Hartnett, Hollywood actor, Timothy Dalton.
Wow. So it's actually got like a reasonably big cast.
Oh, the cast is insane for a TV show.
Yeah.
And the sets...
Josh Hartnett. I was wondering what he'd been doing.
Yeah, well, he's been in this show. He's the werewolf guy. This is not a spoiler. It's obvious that he's a werewolf from the start. And all the sets are like lavish and huge, and all the costumes are,
Is it
really well done.
Is it like HBO, Netflix, or something?
It's Showtime, which I'm not sure what they're affiliated with.
Dexter, I think.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I know what they did. I'm sure they did a whole bunch of stuff, but Dexter, I think, is the main one.
Right. But every episode must cost like millions of dollars.
Yeah. Is his production value high though? Like, I know you talk about how the actors and like.
Yeah, production values are super high.
Really? Is it like Game of Thrones level? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Because obviously Game of Thrones is insanely popular.
Yeah.
So they're able to have like a massive budget.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading how, like, the budget for each season of Game of Thrones is like 60 million, which for like 10 episodes is a lot. Like, I don't know how 100%.
Like a movie budget.
Yeah, I don't know how 100% legit that is.
Yeah.
It's something I read. I read a lot of stuff, and I don't always bother to fact check, because if it suits my argument, awesome, I move on. But yeah, 60 million. So but that's like, everyone watches Game of Thrones. So, yeah, Penny Dreadful. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious now.
It's not bad. I mean, the plot is not the strongest.
Yeah. Is it like that Hugh Jackman movie, like Van Helsing? It's sort of like that.
It's not stupid.
Okay. Oh, it's not stupid? Okay.
Yeah. Well, not deliberately stupid.
Yeah.
Sometimes stupid things happen in it.
I've always been interested in it because, like, that time period I like a lot.
Yeah.
The whole old-fashioned Victorian London, because, like, so much crazy crap was going on in there.
Yeah. And
just the motifs and the scenery and the symbolism. And, like, Ava Green's hot. So,
she's super hot.
Yeah. The only reason I sat through Casino Royale was because she was in it.
You didn't like Casino Royale?
I don't like Bond movies, but that's probably a topic for another time.
Yeah. Billy Piper's in it as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
My first ever crush.
Yeah. Well, full frontal nudity.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, the second season's really ramped up the...
nudity.
Well, the nudity and all of the sort of out there kind of stuff.
Okay.
There's like
I said, sequel escalation.
Yeah, there's a definite escalation.
Is it like an ongoing plot line over each season?
Yeah.
So it's not like a formula that is followed. Like there's an actual plot line.
No. Well, there is like the first season was one plot arc.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And then the second season it follows on from that, but it's separate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool.
But yeah, each episode links into the other.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So it's not like Monster of the Week or anything.
No.
Cool. Yeah, it's like The Wire. Why does that?
I guess it is like The Wire in that. But yeah, this season there's been full frontal male and female nudity, multiple sex scenes, including an extremely graphic gay sex scene.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always like watching gay sex scenes. That's probably a very weird comment. Now that I've just said it. It's not because I find it hot or anything. Yeah. But
it really does it for you.
No, it's just different. I don't see it that often.
Uh-huh.
You know, so I'm always looking and go, oh yeah. You know, it's pretty cool. I just want to point out there.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, because you don't often see like full on male nudity at all. Like I feel like Game of Thrones. That's probably completely wrong, but I feel like Game of Thrones was one of the first shows that started doing it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like you always saw like women nudity. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like because but like full on nudity. I remember like seeing Theon Greyjoy naked in like episode 2 or 3 or something.
I don't remember that.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, because he's having sex with that made up character Rose. You know, the prostitute.
Oh yeah.
And you see everything, and I was like, oh yeah, like it just struck me as kind of weird because you don't often see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, cool. So it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not Game of Thrones level, but
does Jamie like it?
Yeah. Yeah, we watch it one episode a night, pretty much.
Does it compare to any particular shows that you can think of? Is it similar to Banshee? It sounds like it's similar to Banshee.
Exactly like Banshee.
It sounds like it's similar to Banshee.
I don't know. It does, in that everything in it is like a trope of some other story. I'm
interested. I never knew Josh Hartnett was in it.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in it now. Like I always knew Ava Green was because she's on all the DVD covers and the posters and stuff. But yeah, Josh Hartnett's kind of interesting. I mean, Timothy Dalton's like whatever, you know.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he was alright in Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, he was alright in Hot Fuzz.
That's hilarious.
But he'll always be like Bond, right?
Yeah.
In the worst Bond movies. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Roger Moore.
It was only like one. Roger Moore had most of the terrible
Dalton,
ones.
I think, was in 2 or 3.
Was he?
Yeah. Roger Moore was in quite a few.
You know a lot about Bond for somebody who hates Bond movies.
Like I said, I analyse everything. My favourite Bond movie was George Lazenby one.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Shit.
Was it The Living Daylights?
No. Living Daylights is Dalton. Okay. I think
it's... Kill?
No. I think it's Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay.
I think.
Right.
Don't quote me on that because I'm very good at body knowledge about stuff I don't like.
Okay.
But like, cause I don't know, you know, so it's good. I'm curious because I've been looking forward to a new show because Game of Thrones has. I'm still gonna watch Game of Thrones, but I'm less excited about it now.
I think I'm more excited about it now.
Why?
Because it's setting the course. It's not just following the books.
No.
It is following the books, but we don't know what the books.
But then that's the problem. Like, it feels like it's almost spoiling it for me.
No, I'm fine with that. Fuck the books.
Yeah. And it is annoying he's taking so long, but the books are better. Right?
Oh yeah, the books are better.
They are far better. Like, just in terms of writing and characters and arcs.
But that's to be expected. The book's
and
like 900 pages long.
I don't like how the TV show has cut out so much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, if people enjoy the show, they should read the books.
Yeah. Because,
there's massive character arcs that just aren't in the TV show.
Well, there's like whole major
sets
of characters.
My favourite villain's not in the TV show. It's like, what is going on here?
Who's that?
Cry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. It's like, he's not even it. It's like, nah, we won't bother casting him. It's like, what? What's going on?
I've told you my favourite theory about him, right?
Yes, I completely disagree. And I think the show sums up why it's false.
What, because Crow's Eye's not in it at all?
Yeah, but Dario, or his stupid name is. Yeah. So, and like he acts completely different.
But that would be a good way to get around.
No, it wouldn't, because I'd have no context. So Dario would be like, oh, by the way, I'm going to cry, and everyone like, who? Like, there's no context. At least in the show, the the books, if it was, you'd at least have some form of context. You'd be like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
I still like it.
Okay. No. The TV show's, it's fine. It's got good production value. It's very well acted. It's cast well. I don't have too many complaints about the cast. I don't like how they've like chopped up like huge plot lines out of it. Yeah.
But then some of the stuff that they have cut out, I'm glad about because it was boring.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't get to experience Brienne's journey.
Oh Jesus! I put that book down.
In book 4.
Yeah, and I didn't read it until book 5 came out, and then I read it skipping all of Brienne's chapters.
I remember reading book 4 because it had been so long since I read book 3.
Yeah. And
I was like, yeah, here we go. and then I read about how the only point of view characters they had were like Brienne and Sansa and shit like that.
Yeah, all the shit ones you don't want to hear from.
There's no Jon, there's no Daenerys, there's no Tyrion. There's no Tyrion, there's no Davos. No. And I was like, what is this shit? Like, it was just like every character I don't like in one book.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I was like, awesome. Awesome. It's like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And then it was just Bjorn running around. And like, have you seen Sansa? It's like, no. Okay, cool. And then just moves on to the next person.
Why did you have this fucking scene in the book?
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah. And then, oh god. And then she's like, have you seen Sansa? It's like, oh yeah, I might have seen her in this place a month ago. It's like, cool. Head to that place. And it's like, are you serious? Like, this is just shit. You could cut out this entire thing.
Yeah.
And just have her appear where Sansa is at the end if you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, Brienne travelled from here to here.
Yeah.
It's like in the first book, if you had just had, when Caitlyn travelled to that inn where she met Tyrion, if you just had Caitlyn just travelling on the way, just chatting to people. That's what we like. It just be like, I don't know if he's like, previous editor died, or something like, or he's just like, I'm not going to finish this book. I should just extend Brienne's chapters for whatever reason, because she's a cool character. Maybe Brienne's his favourite character.
Well, I think it's like, Brienne in the show is good. I like her in the show.
Yeah, but you don't see her just chatting to people about nothing for ages, you know?
It may be like when they get too big and then nobody can say no to them. Because like the first Matrix movie is a great movie.
Yeah.
And then it was a huge success. And the second and third movie is all this like random shit.
Yeah. They're completely different movies after that. Yeah.
And it's clearly that whenever somebody said, Wachowski brothers, I don't think we should do this, then they should shut the fuck up. We just made $1 billion.
That's the thing. What was clear to me that Matrix was only designed to be one movie because they weren't sure that it was going to be big. And when it was big, they're like, okay, got to make a couple more. And so they're just like, oh, whatever. But it's the George Lucas effect, right?
Mm.
No one ever said no to him.
Yeah.
So when he made the prequels, it was just him.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, cool. He just wasn't bound by any limitations or whatever. He wanted to have a talking rabbit, so they allowed him. You know, he wanted to have
Jamaican talking rabbit.
Yeah, and he wanted to have Samuel Jackson in like the most miscast role in the history of movies. Yeah, and they allowed him. They're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And no one ever said no to him. But no, it's just A Song of Ice and Fire has just gone the route of it's just gone the way of Wheel of Time, really. Just become like bogged down.
I didn't know that you liked Wheel of Time. Have you read it?
Yeah.
I have a big cheesy grin on my face, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think probably the 5th or 6th time I started my reread about it the other day.
Oh, okay.
It's quite massive.
Are you still in the good books?
Well, I think they're all good, really, except for book 10. For those of us listening to us who don't know Wheel of Time and have never heard me talk about how amazing it is, it's like this massive 14-book series.
Is it only 14?
It's only 14.
Oh man, I've only got like 4 to go.
Yeah, only 14, and it's like the pages are roughly between 800 and 1200 pages. Like it's not short.
Except book 10.
I think book 10 is still 700.
Yeah.
Like it's not a short book. Like it's still longer than the longest Harry Potter book.
It feels short because literally nothing happens.
Yes. But Wheel of Time is known for having a stupid amount of characters and a stupid amount of detail in the world. Like, people always bring up Lord of the Rings as having huge cast of characters, like, who just haven't read Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And I just laugh at them. I'm like, like, that's just nothing.
Yeah.
And then the author died at book 11. I think book 11 was his last book he wrote. And then they got another author to finish the last 3. But I think it's the greatest series known to man. I love the books. They're amazing. I know so many people who read it and give up around book 6. Because book 6 is when it starts getting really, really, really heavy. And A Song of Ice and Fire is going the same path now, where there's a lot of characters. Like, and initially when Wheel of Time started, just like A Song of Ice and Fire, all the characters were together.
Yeah.
You know, and they just travelled on. You had a couple of other characters elsewhere, but they all had the same plot line.
Yeah.
It was essentially from A to B. But then Wheel of Time got to a point where all the main characters, and there's probably 8 of them, had their own separate plot lines. And so they're going off in different parts of the world, getting introduced to more supporting characters.
Oh god, it spreads out like a spider web.
It is. It's essentially just like a spider web, and so the book just becomes more and more and more bogged down. And like, I know you agree with me, where like most of the girls are just, their plot lines are shit. Like,
they're just really badly written.
They are. He doesn't write girls very well, but I like his writing style in general, like Robert Jordan's writing style in general, and I enjoy the way everyone interacts with each other and how everything feeds into each other. I think it's really, really good. I like the villains. They don't really do much, unfortunately.
Yeah, what are they? The Forsaken?
Forsaken. No, and even
they could have been so much cooler. But
like,
they only get like half a chapter every book.
Yeah, even like Pain and Fane.
Yeah.
Doesn't get mentioned that often. It's because like there's so many characters, and the villains only really care about Rand, the main one. So you don't really see much of them beyond that. Yeah, and I love how my favourite villain doesn't appear till book 6, which sums up the series as a whole. It's like 6 books in, he shows up. It's like, cool, you know? Yeah, I don't really recommend that series to anyone anymore.
My view on it is the first book is really, really good.
Yep.
And then up to about book 4, they're still good.
Yep.
And then after book 4, they start on like a downward trend.
Yeah.
Until you get to book 10, which is just shit.
Yeah, but there's a problem, like, it just becomes bogged down in detail.
Yeah. And I remember one thing that jumps out of my memory is Elaine's brother is like a soldier or something.
Yeah.
And I remember in like book 8 or something, he just randomly got this whole plot line to himself. And it's I don't give a fuck about this guy.
That's a problem as well. Like, supporting characters start getting their own plot line.
Yeah.
And so you look at it like, yeah. No,
and it seems like, it sort of felt to me like Robert Jordan had created this huge, expansive world with all these different cultures and lands. And then he's like, I really want to show off this culture, so I have to send somebody over there. But Rand's over here.
Yeah.
And Edwin's at the tower or whatever.
Yeah.
So I need to find somebody to go there. I know, I'll pick fucking Joe Bloggs from book 2, who we never heard from again, and he's gonna have his whole plot line that doesn't link into anything. Yeah.
No. You're completely right. It's like the main characters create that ripple effect.
Yeah.
But in order to see the actual influence of the ripple effect, you have to be able to get a character to some far off place.
Yeah.
That we would never come across before. Anyway, rather than just say, "Hey, I heard this is happening." He actually wants to show it. And I think George R. R. Martin's going down the same path, right? When he starts introducing all those characters in Dawn and shit like that, like the sand snakes, and you're like, like, I don't understand. I don't understand half the point of views he has anymore, like why they exist.
Yeah.
Like half the Greyjoys. I love the Greyjoys, but I don't understand why they have like 4 point of views.
Yeah.
Later on, and some of them are only like 1. Like Melisandre. She had a point of view in the latest book, right? But it's only got 1, 2 point of views. Yeah. And you're like, does she need to have? Do we need to have her opinion on stuff? Like,
just be mysterious.
Well, she was still mysterious. We really found out nothing, and so that's why I was like, why is she? And I think that's... Maybe he's setting her up for her own plotline later. And I think that's also part of the issue. Like I was saying before. They're getting supporting characters who were just there to emphasize a main character's traits and giving them their own plotline. And so they go off on their own now and do their thing. And so I was like, but yeah, anyway, I wanted to point out, I've started rereading Wheel of Time again.
Where are you up to?
Oh, I've just started it. So like
book 1?
100 pages into book 1 or something. Okay. Like the main plotline hasn't even kicked up yet. It's just the characters just talking to each other in the village.
Are they still in the village?
Yeah, and they're introducing like 80 characters or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool, some old dude. And of course all those characters come back again like book 4.
Yeah.
And this is what Robert Jordan does. He sets up stuff. Like, you'll meet a character in book 1 who just doesn't appear again in book 9. And I love that stuff. But I can see why people don't.
Yeah.
I can see why people are like, well, what is this shit?
I'm totally happy if that person pops up in, part of the main plotline. But if they pop up on their own, on the other side of the world, from all of the interesting characters, and have this whole fucking storyline about going to the shops or whatever. Like, oh my god, no, fuck off.
I remember, there was this random White Cloak. For people who don't know, the White Cloaks are like the religious organization. And he was like in book 1. And then the very same thing happens. He shows up in book 4, doesn't have his own plotline yet. And then he shows up in book 6 and has his own plotline.
Yeah.
And you're like, this random White Cloak who've been told is like this like, they're like racist, they hate magic, they hate basically everyone. They're like over fanatical about their religion. And all of a sudden we're getting like a plotline from this guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And like, he's a complete arsehole. And he just does stuff to do with his religion. Like, what is he doing? And like, the problem is there's no payoff. Yeah, like, not to spoil it. He dies, I think, at some point later on. And there's just no payoff. And like, you could just not have him in it. Yeah. And nothing would happen. It adds to the world building. You see more of that organization, which I think is kind of cool. But by the end of the series, that organization is essentially gone. Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if Robert John was just, like, pulling shit out of his ass by the end, or it's just like, yeah, I really like this character. He's only been in, like, 5 pages the entire series. I'm just going to put him, like, 50 in this book.
Well, I think it's just that he likes showing off all of his stuff. Like, he probably wanted people to know more about the White Cloaks. Yeah. And rather than write, like, a Wikipedia entry on them, he just created a character and made him relay all that information.
They released a companion, like, an encyclopedia just recently. Because, the series is finished. There was an older one.
Yeah, I've got the older one up.
Yeah, this is a new one. And the older one showed a whole bunch of stuff from, like, the previous age that we just had no idea existed, right? Yeah. And this newer one just has a heap of information on characters. Oh, okay. We just didn't even know. So there's, like, a lot more out there. Yeah. That was just never in the books. And that just staggers me. It's like, wow. Like, he could have actually had more if he wanted. Like, he'd just be, like, just throwing more stuff in. And he didn't. Like, for whatever reason, he had restraint on some things, but not on others. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, that was my all-time rant.
Well, thanks for coming on the show today, Gal.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I hope you had a good time. You got to express yourself.
Yep. I'm hoping I did a much better job than Allan, so everyone forces him out. And I take over.
Well, we can only hope.
Even though this podcast was his idea, right? So, yeah. But, it happens to CEOs of companies. They get forced out because they're bad.
But we need to keep him on as, like, the editing and all that, because I can't be bothered doing all that work.
Okay. Are you not going to be editing this one?
Yeah, I am. Okay. But like every week?
One off?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool. Keep around for that.
Okay, if people want to get in touch, you can find us on social media. We're on Facebook at Popculture Pon. Similarly, on Twitter, we are at Popculture Pon. And you can find our website at... Is it www? I don't think it is. Lose the www. It's Popculture Pontification.weebly.com. And I'm going to have to double check that, because it could be wrong.
And eventually, they will be on YouTube.
Yeah, eventually, once we figure out YouTube.
Then you just post stuff? I mean, I don't know.
Well, you had to turn it into a video before you can put it up, right?
But you can't just have like a sound wave and then have like just a background thing?
I don't know. I'll go and Google it after this.
Yeah, you should. I'm sure there's like an easy program out there you can download.
We could just put this episode up on YouTube.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's an easy program you could download. Yeah. That's probably just free. Yeah. And you just move whatever you want in there and create a video. I'm sure something like that would exist.
It probably has a keylogger in it as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you'll find it.
Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. If you enjoyed Gav being on the podcast, do let us know. And let him know. Because you probably know him. And we will see you next week when we return to our regularly scheduled programming with